Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deepak, and welcome you back in the Bartenders Series. Today, we're going to talk about a very nice topic which we all need to see and discuss that where we are now. Our today's topic going to be the industry then and now. My guest speaker is from Singapore, and he's the one of the well-known person. So I will love to share the things with you that how and where we are standing now. Stay tuned with me. Okay, so let's start on the topic industry then and now. Since 2020, most of the bars and restaurants are getting closed every country one by one, and we don't have access to our favorite venue or our favorite bar or to meet each other very well. And this is how we all are facing the issue. So we're going to discuss the things like where we are standing right now. Also, we're going to see the things from the customer's point of view, like what a customer looking for. Because now, of course, because most of the guests can't access their favorite restaurants or bar, they can't meet each other. So, what is their feeling? What they think is going to be next? So, this is what we need to understand from the point of view of each and everyone. So, we have Peter Chua from Singapore, and he worked at the Junior the Pocket Bar, one of the coolest bar to visit in Singapore. So we're going to understand from Peter's point of view, like how the things in the industry and we all facing, also the customers looking for in the future dates, and this is all about it. But before I invite Peter, let me share as usual, let me share a quote with you about our industry. So it's in very simple word I can say hospitality is simply an opportunity to show love and care, and this is all for the guest. So without taking much time, let me invite Peter on our platform to share the things from him.
Hey man, how's it going?
All hi Peter, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just finishing up a Nutella and peanut butter sandwich.
Oh wow, it sounds yummy.
Yeah, bro. Whoever invented this, I'm going to give myself credit. Deserves, a Nobel Peace Prize for this, man. It's so good.
Good, good. So how are you doing, Peter? How's the things in
Not too
Singapore?
bad, man. I mean, essentially, I don't know if you heard, but I know, Bangkok in worse situation, but Singapore went through a kind of like a not lockdown situation where they basically closed all the bars and restaurants till
Uh-huh.
June 13th. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, we're all surviving. We're finding things to keep ourselves occupied. It's kind of like COVID all over again and a 1 year anniversary sort of. But yeah,
Okay. So like I think it's the same in Thailand also. Okay, this is like the third lockdown you can say in Thailand right now.
hmm
So we got our second lockdown from 1st Jan 2021 onwards. That's the New Year
yeah,
day. We got our first lockdown. Then it's open the mid of Feb.
hmm
Then again the next lockdown like 1st April onwards, and then now 1st May onwards all the bars and restaurants closed. But now we allowed to open again.
Well, when did they officially allow you guys to open again?
So the official lockdown, you can say, Okay, so it's lockdown is not like the food and beverage. It's all
I know it's
all
only
bar.
alcohol, right? Yeah, but as in like
But
when do they allow you to open again? Because I heard the last time when you guys were close to
no.
opening, they
Okay.
still haven't give you a date.
Okay. Right now, the announced there's no date for to
Shit.
open
Okay,
the bar. That's why
that
you
sucks,
see the
man.
whole. Yeah, that's why the whole beverage industry is actually almost dying.
Hmm.
If you see like the entire hospitality industry in Thailand is almost dying at the moment, and
Hmm.
that's a very big part because you see like one time Thailand is actually growing and like so many bars coming under the Asia 50 variant. But now, due to this entire thing, we don't know where we are standing and how the things going to be moved in the future dates.
Well, that sucks, man. I mean, I hope you guys have a light at the end of the tunnel soon. You guys can come out of it, because I know quite a
Um,
few bars and restaurants are affected. But fingers crossed, bro. I mean, hope the
Fingers crossed.
restaurants will bounce back quickly.
Because actually, like I actually salute like many bar owners and you can say many industry experts like who actually putting all their savings and everything to save their things. Like I know, like I see the post from the Nick, I see the post from the Tropic City, I see the post from the Smalls and all these standalone bars, like how they're managing the things right now. Because see, the first thing they don't have any kind of way to sell the alcohol. We can't sell the alcohol in Thailand right now, right? From the bars. Second thing, they don't. They are only bar. They are not restaurants, so they can't sell food. They can, if they want to do something, they can just do the beverages. So, like example, teams of Thailand or Asia Today, you can say the whole team they're doing really good job. They're taking the coffee, the cold brew coffees, and some dim sum things. So they started the new concept called Dim Sum International, and
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that they're selling dim
yeah,
sum for the
that's
website.
really cool, really cool. And then I saw the post from the Philip and Aaron from Tropic City that they also started this cold pressed juice things on
Yeah,
the
cold
weekend
press
basis.
juices. Yeah.
Then I saw the post from the photo locker room, under locker room, that they also doing some coffees, cold brew coffees and cold brew drinks, but it's only on the pre-order basis on the weekends. So actually,
Yeah.
this is how I think some bars are doing something here and there, but not 100% you can say.
I mean, of course, man. I mean, even back in Singapore now, as much as our market is was pretty good, so to speak, the bounce back was pretty good. But even with this 1 month of closure, people started panicking again because having your reserves to kind of tide you through the first 2 months of that lockdown last year, cool, that was fine, we did it. But then having it again, most people don't haven't even made back the money that we lost from the last the last two lockdowns basically. And what happens is now a lot of us are either a straight gone into survival mode, which is thankfully we can still sell alcohol, so we're doing deliveries, but obviously the feedback and the intensity is not as strong as last year because last year no one knew what's going on. This year for us in Singapore at least, we knew that there's an end to it to a certain extent where people can come out again. So people are less likely to kind of order things again, and it's hurting the business quite badly. But I can only imagine it's much worse for you guys because you guys don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. There's no deadline, and and Neil just mentioned, and that's why like countries that survive on tourism like Bangkok, it really is very detrimental to the business. And what he mentioned as well is like it's sad to see that in Bangkok at least hospitality is the first one to get axed because as a on an economical kind of standpoint of view, it doesn't bring in that much of an income as opposed to engineering, or shipping. So more often than not, I think the government is willing to sacrifice an industry in hospitality. Hospitality, unfortunately, usually is the one that gets cut out.
But like, if I'm not wrong, like, because Singapore government also doing some kind of help to the hospitality, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, they do. So we are very lucky, honestly, compared to places like Bangkok. We are very lucky in the sense that the government did give a bit of some money in basically to kind of help tide us over by working landlords to give reduced rent and all that, and paying some of the salary for the team. So I mean, obviously, greatly appreciated, but there's only so much they can give as well. and we do have ridiculous amounts of F&B venues in Singapore. So it does help, but on the grand scale of things, it's more like a band-aid more than anything else. So yeah, man, like we all are going through some sort of a similar situation, but the only thing we can do, honestly, is to just look forward and really, really just plan in crisis mode. Like do like what the guys in Tins of Thailand are doing, the guys in like in the Tropic City and find a photo booth. You just need to find some way to get revenue. And yeah, him and Neil, I agree with you. They have cash to give a lot more, but unfortunately, I don't think they want to sacrifice all their reserves for hospitality. Sadly, but
See,
yes,
you can see like the one thing over here, that Thailand is one of the countries all about the tourism.
correct. No, it is.
And due to this entire thing, like now we don't have any kind of support. Most of the bars are closed. Everybody is sitting at home and just planning,
Mhm.
just planning that when we have the whole country is vaccinated and the tourists back, then only we can do something.
I mean, not to bash the Bangkok government, but I mean him, and if the fact that you can't even give like a plan or a timeline to when you can slowly reintroduce alcohol in the venues again, opening venues again, just shows that they have no fucking clue what they want to do. It shows they have no planning, and that to me is more frustrating than anything else. If you told me, hey, we're close to 2 months, we can't do this for whatever lame ass reason, I can still buy it. But if you tell me that the reason why you're not selling alcohol is because it encourages social gathering, but you keep the venues open to sell tea and food, I'm like, dude, that doesn't make logical sense in any way, you know. Yeah, so that's my. I think it's a big conundrum on what they're trying to do, and that just shows that they just have no idea what they're doing. And the people who suffer for it are, like you mentioned, if you're like a big hotel or something, it's still okay because you still have reserves that you can pull from other parts of your business. It's still not too bad to an extent. But if you're a privately owned small to medium sized bar, then you're basically fucked. Like you are basically at your wits end because you are scrambling to get any cent you can get in to funnel the business. And I don't think it's very fair, in my opinion.
Uh, True, like there's like you can see. I'm not sure this kind of news. It's come in the Singapore news channels or something. That means the print media, but there's many three-star and two-star hotels in Thailand which is already shut till further notice, including few five-star hotels and four-star hotels which is closed till further notice. Like that means they're waiting when the vaccination is done, and now they're planning for the July and August.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, we don't see that news, man. No one's gonna show that news, unfortunately. But yeah, that sucks to hear. But they're being smart. They're just cutting down the fixed costs. They're cutting down the utilities that they have to spend every month. They're cutting down the staffing, man. And what did Neil say? It's small places that make the big cities of the world. No, it's true. It's true. It's like all these venues and all these places come together to kind of create what the city is. It's 100% true. So like like especially like for you, you work like thank God you still have a job. I'm very happy for you for that because like you said, anytime they decide, hey man, we're gonna cut costs, we're gonna find a way to survive, and then you could be just like that out, and
Of
you
course,
can't do anything about it.
they, like even like the small hotel or big hotels, they all have a fixed cost, and the biggest fixed cost for them is asset and salary.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if I'm talking about this big hotel, they have asset and the salary is the biggest cost, so they need to think how they manage. I just read the news yesterday about the Mumbai. So in Asia, the one of the well-known five-star property Hyatt Regency, Mumbai, it's closed till further notice.
There
And
you
they
go, man.
actually posted the whole article that we don't have money to pay salary
No,
to
I'm
the
not. I'm
employees.
not surprised. Not surprised at all
So
because
we
I mean
we
India right
really need
now,
to.
bro. The situation is so bad, bro. It is so bad, bro. But hey, William, Deepak is William. Can you hear? Can you hear
William,
Deepak now? Yeah, there
William,
you go.
can you hear me now?
But yeah, but no, it's true. But it is what it is. I mean, the whole world is suffering. We're just trying to bounce back as good as we can. And I think what I've seen so far that I'm very very kind of encouraged by is many different form of companies that work in hospitality, from brands to groups that are really putting in the effort to help those that can't help themselves. And I think that's an amazing thing for them to do. So, I mean, I don't want to be negative all the way, but I think that's one of the very, very, very good things that we as a community can kind of come together and help each other. From like helping to even just to share a post, man. Like I've seen people sharing posts about the delivery that they have. I try my best to share anything in Singapore, and just keeping up to date and keeping check with people who might be like like suffering now, because this is the one of the worst times to be alone. I'll be honest with you, especially when your job's at risk, and let's say you're traveling to a foreign country when you're depending on a visa, you're not sure when you're going to get kicked out. It affects more than just your professional life. It affects your personal life and your plans, because even if let's say you do go home to your country, and let's say for yourself you go back to India, it's a mess, it's not going to be good, so you're stuck between a hard place and a rock, so it's not fun. So it's just very encouraging and enlightening to see how some people are still remaining positives, and how some different brands and different groups are helping other less fortunate venues and businesses. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think we should all support that.
Okay, so let's continue our talk. And okay, to everyone who just joined right now, let me share with you. We're going to discuss with Peter, and we're going to talk about a topic, a very interesting topic, like industry then and now. So please feel free to put your questions in the box below. If my voice is not clear, please let me know so I can try to change some way. Okay, so Peter, let's start from some basic introduction first. Do you want to share something about you and your bar and your background with everyone?
Cool.
We
Yes.
we all know, but still we love to hear from you.
Yeah, I'll summarize it. So basically, I'm Peter and I'm from Singapore. For a long time, I was just working in bars and having fun and drinking. Some of you guys have joined me on that expedition for all. Right now, I'm currently putting my efforts into some form of bar entrepreneurship, taking inspiration from the guys like Nick's and all that, where I just like opening venues and running venues. So along with my business partner Joe Ellison Droney, who was a long-time colleague and friend at Proof, we actually bought out Junior the Pocket Bar. So now we co-own it as an independent venue. And I'm actually working on a project right now for a new bar opening in mid to end July, also in Singapore. So that one will be called Nemesis, and we're hoping to open it soon, depending on the situation. My advice is that right now is the worst time and worst situation to open a venue, but no fucking idea why we decided to do it, but we're doing it. But so that's what I'm busy with right now. Haven't had a salary for the last 7 months, but still okay.
But like once once the things go normal, I think then you have salary. I know your salary.
Well, I
You have
mean,
salary.
when this new bar opens, hopefully I'll pay myself something. But in the meantime, the first thing we always do is that if the place is not making money, the first person to actually not get money will be the guys on top. Contrary to belief, everybody thinks that we ask the guys below first, but usually it's the guy on top that kind of sit back and not take the money at all.
And
But
and I hope. And do you want to hit the Havana, or do you want to hit the Tropic once the everything is okay?
bro, I hit it all, bro. Like I don't even see my record, but my record in Bangkok is 11 bars. Okay, I did 11 bars in one night. Do I remember all 11 bars? I cannot say I do, but
You
I
don't.
do remember hitting all 11 bars.
But you remember it's 11 bar, including Havana, right? And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really
Oh,
very
dude, of
happy to
course.
hear that.
Yeah, of course. I always go to Havana Social at some point, bro. And the thing about Havana Social, I call it for lack of better word, I call it elbow to chest, because that's how you wade through the crowd. There's just so many people, and you're just nudging everybody in the chest. It's so weird. But that's the entire joy of Havana Social, man. Like, it's getting people in the group. Definitely not COVID friendly. Don't get me wrong. Ain't no social distancing about that. But who cares, man? When there's no pandemic, it was the best thing ever.
Of course, it's the best thing ever to be at Havana, end of the night,
Mm.
not before that.
See, that's my mistake. I always start with Havana first. So yeah.
Yeah, if you say Havana first, then the guy will come from the mobile and he will hug you.
Had my fair share. Had my fair share.
Okay, okay. Peter, as per you, we are not talking about the book something from the book or something which is written somewhere. What do you think? What is industry and what is customer?
What is industry and what is customer? Okay, well, from my own philosophical standpoint of view, I mean, the industry is basically what we sell. Well, okay, the things that we sell in the industry is basically intangible. The whole industry itself is intangible. We cannot quantify it, because the product we're actually selling is more than just drinks and food. We're actually really selling the feeling and the act of hospitality, which you cannot quantify. So yeah, so if you ask me to summarize what hospitality is, I would just say it is a feeling and an experience that can only be given through human contact. That's the only way I can say it. If not, robots would have taken over our jobs long ago. In terms of what the guests are the customers. I like to refer to them as guests because when they come to your venue or when you go to someone else's venue, you want to be treated like a guest at your house, essentially. Like if someone comes to my house, I'm taking care of them in a different way, and I think that's how we should see our customers to some extent because they will probably be reoccurring guests, and most of them end up being friends in the long run as well.
Okay, so that's the definition from your side.
At least from what I don't think it's a definition, it's what I feel it is, what I think it is.
That's the way. This is what you feel,
Yeah.
not about
Yeah.
the perfect. Okay, now what do you think? Where we are before 2021, 2020, and where we are now? What the difference?
Where we are now, I think we're in the same boat actually. Only difference is compared to last year and this year. I mean, like 1 year BC, 2019, 1 year before COVID. I mean, everything was going normal. We all kind of like predicted a big boom in the industry in 2020. People planning travels. Everyone was planning their forecasting their finances, hoping for a bigger year, and obviously the pandemic hit. And nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew how long it was going to be. People were scrambling to figure out what the pandemic was. And then come 2021, we kind of thought we knew, and then it came back again. And now the only difference between 2020 and now is that we at least have some sense of what we're dealing with. So there's less fear and less uncertainty because there's a bit more of the known in the unknown. And obviously the vaccine coming out, as much as it doesn't guarantee you safe passage all the way, it is still some form of security that people can kind of lean on and feel better about themselves. The only thing that I think we should all take note of is that things are not going to be the same as before. The way that consumerism has kind of changed over the last 2 years is quite drastic. Because, for example, for those, I don't know about in Bangkok as much as Singapore, but in Singapore, during the lockdown, a lot of us lean towards delivery for cocktails. They figured if I can't go out, I'll bring it to me and I have fun with my friends over Zoom and all that. It's a way to keep connected between my friends and kind of keep that idea of socialism going on, socializing going on. And so with that new insurgence of consumerism, people realize that even moving forward, with the potentiality of a pandemic still hanging around, sometimes they might just decide, you know what, if it's available, why not just order it today and and stay home rather than go out. So I think we who are working in the industry, we need to understand that we need to kind of be reactive to the change in the way people now see bars and visit bars, and just understand that it's nobody's fault. It's just how the situation is now, and try to figure out how we can best cope with it and kind of go with the flow.
Okay. Like if I say about the like Thailand, so most of the time we have the few new things, or not the new things, the things adopted from the another country by the brand. Is what is going on. Like a new things which recently started is online cocktail hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a very beautiful.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Aaron and Nung are doing it. I want to Shenzhen Sons and Nung's doing something like that.
Yes. So
Yeah.
this is the thing started by the Strangers and Sons in Thailand. Just, this is third week. So this is the thing what Strangers and Sons Thailand team started. Then some online master classes.
Mhm.
Also some. I think you saw it. The Hendrix virtual tour
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
and
Charmaine and all that.
then the by the Grupa Campari some online classes, and that's
Mm.
a beautiful thing I think we're
Mm-hmm.
doing. And yes, catching up with the friends online but via Zoom, having the virtual drinks is one of the part. But and hopefully the things go well the same way.
Yeah, I mean the whole online thing is good, but I guess like it's a necessity to the current situation, right? I don't think it will last forever. Although I do see some good things about it. Like for example, if I'm a brand and I'm trying to reach out to many people to do multiple kind of like classes to different people in different time zones, and I can't be there personally all the time. I think that's what the internet was built for. Because for things like having things like masterclasses and sending a sample down, it's easier than trying to fly the person over. And that way you can reach out. If you can definitely reach out to more people. So especially what they did with Charmaine, what they did with Hendrix and all that, I think that was very cool. It's taking a masterclass and now making it into an experience, and that breaks the regular mold of what masterclasses are, and it's more engaging. You get the message across. You talk about the brand, and also it makes an impression. So I think it's one of the tools that brands can move forward to use and should continue using, in my opinion. Actually, don't get me wrong. I still love going to a bar, going there to see a brand ambassador coming down to talk, or a brand manager come down to talk about the spirit. I think there's something very cool about having that tangible experience as well. But if I had to substitute something from the industry, I would substitute definitely masterclasses to online platforms. I think that's so much more convenient, and it's less logistic cost for the brands and the venue as well.
Definitely, and I can say that one of the best example, like which recently happened, like 2 weeks before, uh, by the but not by the brand, you can say by the bar.
Mm.
One official organized a online training class about the Thai cuisine. They're one of the
Mm.
signature
Well,
Chilean
I
Thai
wasn't
cuisine.
invited. Ask Gabriel to invite me
So
for this
you
shit
got
next time.
invitation, right? And the caramel martini. So that's like one of the good way they
Oh
start
yeah, I
the
saw that, the
festival for the
salted
brand.
caramel old fashioned. That's one of their house drinks. Yeah, I saw the post. I think that's cool because for Havana Social is such a strong following of locals. Uh,
Yes.
as in like their local group, they need to have things like this to keep the spirit alive. Because if it's really the true definition of, if you can't come to the party, then we'll bring the party to you. And obviously
But
Gabriel.
do you know who was behind the bar agent?
Gabriel, yeah, yeah, I saw
Okay,
his post.
you know that guy, right? Very
Yeah, so
very 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 weird type of guy and not talk a lot.
no, but it's good because his personality suits that kind of thing where if you just give him a cameraman, he will run the show for you. But yeah, but I thought again, like we do that in Singapore as well with people doing classes and stuff, and I think it's one of the things that unfortunately is here to stay. I think we'll see less frequency of it once bars open, but there's a demand for it still. So prior even to our second lockdown, I've done a couple of Zoom kind of sessions where some of the guests that I used to do, that I've done a couple of sessions with them for Diplomatico before, actually reached out to me personally,
I saw it.
do a,
I saw it.
separate masterclass. Yeah, so I think it's here to stay. I think people realize that it's also kind of fun to have somebody kind of teaching you drinks at home while you're doing it yourself. You pay them a small amount of money. You stay in the comfort of your home. You don't have to wear pants, whatever. Have fun. Once in a while, it's quite cool.
Yeah, once in a while it's quite cool, and I think what Gabriel and the Havana team introduced online,
Mm.
with I think that's something very good to follow or to take something from there and make it something new, something like that. I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a very tricky question. What I'm going to ask you
Okay.
right now in the current situation in 2020 and 2021, who's the loser and who's the winner?
Well, I think I think we're all losers to a certain extent. The fact is that the moment the pandemic hit, nobody actually won. If you're talking about our industry wise, and I think the only real winners are the people who are still surviving. I think that's the best way to look at it. And everyone else is suffering. But if you ask me specifically in terms of the market, then the winners are the people who obviously thrive on technology or on mediums that transcend the concept of space and time. That's why things like online shopping, things like Zoom, those are like people making the big money now, and all the industries that require human interaction and requires a skill and a craftsman to be there are the ones that got hit the most, because the one thing that you can't do is have interaction with people. So you're talking about hairdressers to masseurs to obviously to bartenders, and to even to places what do you call that, tourist attractions where people need to be there. All of us got hit. All of us are the losers. The only real people who actually won in this industry, basically right now, I mean, in this situation right now, are the people who had businesses that really depended on remote interactions. So yeah, but that's my takeaway from it. But in general, even then, most people have been losing the last 2 years. If you talk on like a personal standpoint of view, people who had to change their way of life, from being able to travel. Let's say they're a travel person. People who are very social, big introverts, extroverts who like to go out and meet their friends. Obviously, everyone got affected. So yeah,
We all almost on the same boat.
yeah. I think we all can see, man. We all can see. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, man. Even without the situation, I mean, like, as much as I like to bitch and moan about what is going on with me and my friends, I mean, we have situations with people like in Myanmar who are going through worse stuff, an actual military
Yes.
coup and all that, and then obviously, the whole Israel-Palestine thing, it just goes to show again that although we are in our own bubble of despair, we still cannot take certain things for granted. Is that we're living in a good city where we have friends we can still kind of hang out with and go to their house and have drinks with. We're not worried about safety. The only thing we have to worry about is our businesses failing because we want the money. So in the grand scale of things, technically all of us are losers, but some of us are still doing better than others.
Yeah, like different, like right now, our current situation, different places, going through the different phases of this entire. What do you think? How things going to be when the situation go normal? As a
How are
for the
things
industry.
going to be? I
This
think
is this is. I think the answer is not right or wrong, but it's what is your point of view on this?
Well, basically, I think that people are gonna come out again in waves, like crazy amount of waves. I think in the beginning, there's gonna be a bit of an apprehension. They're like, okay, is everything safe? Can I really come out now? And then they're just gonna go full blown and just go out, like go very hard. But what's gonna happen is that novelty of being able to go out per normal again will wear out very quickly, and then people are just gonna go back to the normal consumer patterns of coming on the weekends a bit more, less on the weekdays, and I do think there's going to be an increase in home like kind of home parties or home deliveries now. People are going to throw more home parties at home because they've experienced it properly with having rather making their own drinks at home or their own cocktails at home. They can order it from a bar and get it sent to their house, so they just party at home. So I think that will definitely increase as well as delivery and takeaways. For me, I think now that they've tasted, I think people are generally lazy in general. So if they can have things sent to them, that's why we want things quicker and cheaper because we're lazy that way. So now that they know they can have things sent to them via Grab or Food Panda or whatever it is, I think they would stick to that at some point in time.
Yeah, I think this thing going to be for a long time to getting the home delivery at home.
Mm-hmm.
Home delivery at your comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
and we all need to make sure to grab the guest out of from the house and make them comfort again.
Mm-hmm.
What from the after this thing? What do you think a customer's point of view? Because customer is the, you can say, the reason we all working, we all this whole industry is working.
Mm-hmm.
So from a customer point of view, how they're going to react when the things go normal? Because as you mentioned, they're already comfort right now. They're enjoying more home deliveries and all. But how the things going to change for them once
I
everything goes
mean,
normal?
the only thing that I think would change will be like they'll be a bit more appreciative of the bars that they like. They'll support the bars that they like a bit more. I mean, every customer goes to multiple bars, but there's always one or two that's a bit closer to their hearts for them. And I think they'll understand that, hey man, it can be taken away from me. I will appreciate it more and kind of choose to support them a little bit more. But in general, I just don't think much things will change, man. Like when it first over, like I said, people will really go out and drink and go crazy for a bit. But after that, the novelty will wear out very quickly. And most people will go back into that kind of drinking patterns as before to some extent. Just that now with a new sense of appreciation. Because once you have something taken away from you, you really feel that that loss and you realize that there's a high chance you can lose it, you tend to appreciate something better. So I think they will support their favorite bars a little bit more than what they used to. But in general, I think they'll all be back to kind of like the new normal and just drink whenever they want to and hang out whenever they want to.
Let's see how the things will move in
Mm-hmm.
background.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, like this is all from my side, and I think this is what we are looking for. Our industry, because our industry is more about the nightlife and making the things go on, go on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really like the one of like this is my sharing. I'm putting this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a post from Nick Anuman like yesterday.
Oh,
And
Nick's
it's in
okay.
Thai.
Okay.
It's in Thai, so I try to translate, and it's very good. He wrote like, our industry is hit from last 1.5 years, are not able to open the bar,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually like this is the whole thing what we just talking, what we just spoke in the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
That the whole industry is hit so hard, and nobody coming forward, like from the government or all the organizations coming forward to help the people sitting at home from last 1.5 years
Mm-hmm.
and not earning any money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the part we want to mention that government need to come forward and help these people.
No, of course the government needs to support, right? But it also goes back to whether the government can support, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like the Thai government has always been in fluctuation. It's gone from ups and downs. It's always had It always had one foot into potentially being a monarchy state to some extent. So it's like we know that the Thai government is the best, and if they can support, they will support. Like the Singapore government does its best. It gives what it can, but there's only so much it can give before they have to worry about other sectors and in the long run. Because if they just gave in to every whim, then we would definitely. I mean, the industry would appreciate it, but the country would then falter later. So they have to look at the bigger picture, right? And we, thankfully, in Singapore, we have a bunch more reserves compared to other countries. In Thailand, I don't know the financial situation of the government, but just from a third-party point of view, from an outsider point of view, they're not one of the richest countries in the world. So there's only so much they can do to support, right? And I totally feel Nix's frustration. How painful it is when you start a business, an honest business, you do it well, you've done it for a while, and now suddenly what happens is the government decides that I just don't want to sell alcohol anymore. And then it takes your business out of the equation straight away. It's not fair. It's very frustrating. And rather than saying like, hey man, let me give you something to help a little bit, they say, nope, you're on your own. It is very frustrating. But part of the reason I think that's happening is because I don't think the Thai government has the capacity to help the bars, even if they wanted to, in all honesty. And I think that's just from years and years of not managing funds properly and not planning for a disaster like this. And let's be honest, like Bangkok really only started thriving, economically speaking, as a country, maybe in the last decade. Actually, it really only started bouncing really hard in the last decade. And one of its main source of income is tourism. And now you take that out of the equation, it's going to be even worse for them. So I think that's why, I really feel for Nix and everybody in Bangkok who's going through this situation. And my only thing I can say is that it's unlucky that you're in a market where the government just doesn't have the capabilities to help that much. Because even in Singapore, they do help, but it's only so far they can help. So I think that's the unfortunate truth about it. And as much as we on the ground would always be shouting and asking for more help because obviously we need it and we deserve it, the fact is that sometimes they just can't. Let me put this into perspective. Let's say, okay, now you're in this situation where they cut your pay because the bar's not running. They say, Deepak, I'm sorry, we're gonna cut your finances down, but you still have to pay all your things from your rent, to support your family.
Yes.
You have a kid and education and all that. And then you're walking down the street, you see a homeless guy there who's obviously going to be hit worse than us, right? But you want to give him some money, but you can't really afford it as well because you are not getting the money. And you know what I mean? So it's a full circle that comes into play once people stop earning their own rights. And I think it's just the unfortunate truth. And I think that's why even though like most of us in situations that are not as fortunate, we should always still try our best to kind of give whatever we can. If we can't give money, give time. like I always tell my friends right now, I'm broke as shit. I haven't had salary for the last 7 months. But if you need my, but if you
7
need my
months, you
time to
think
help you, yeah, I mean, but it is what it is. I say if you need my time and my effort to help you with something, to share something, happy to do it. That's what I always say.
Okay, we have the question from William and Pankaj that what is your rum treatment? Why you look same?
Oh, you have to make sure you exfoliate your face twice a day, and then lather with a bit of rum, and make sure you eat at least one McDonald's meal a week. That helps a lot.
That's it.
If you guys have seen the McDonald's burgers that have been kept for 20 years, you see they never, never, never rot. Okay,
So
so put that in your
you're
system.
like a McDonald's. You're like a McDonald's burger. I'm not going to finish.
Yeah, being held up by McSpicy's.
Cool. Okay. So Peter, like I think this is all from my side, and I think we almost on time.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody have any questions for Peter, please feel free to put in the question Q&A box. Uh, Peter, like one thing, like we know you represent Asia in some of the big global challenges. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, I use the word Asia, not Singapore, because I think few of the competition where you are the only person from Asia, right? So how you feel?
I mean, like we're speaking with Barney, who's here, who just won world class as well. I mean, in the beginning, obviously, I do agree there was lesser Asian representatives in the global scene, and I think that's purely because our market or our community as a cocktail capital was a little bit younger. So now we've actually grown, and we're holding our own, and we are fighting for our own rights. We're good in our own rights. So in the beginning, obviously, I was proud to represent the whole Asia community in that sense, and be the face of it. Not have like for lack of a better word, have a foreigner who's true and true part of the industry, but obviously working there, not from that country, representing that country. Some people still feel that that guy's not really a Thai guy, that guy's not really a Singaporean guy or girl. But finally having somebody to kind of represent from our country who looks like us, so to speak. I mean, obviously it was a good feeling to have, and I felt very proud to do it. But that was like years ago, bro. It was like 7, 8 years ago. But now we've come to a point where there's so many talented and amazing Asian bartenders, and even the people who are coming here to work, like representing our countries, they're just on the same level as well. So we're quite lucky right now, and that's why, although I had a couple of opportunities to go to America or to Europe to take a job, I stubbornly chose to stay in Asia because I think I want to be in the scene when we're going through this change and improvement. I want to be part of it, and I want to help build that part if I can. Whether it's through the venues that I open, or it's through the people that I meet, or anybody who I can share some knowledge with or learn from, I just want to be a part of it here, essentially. So yeah.
Okay, so right now I'm taking your answer to the same point. I'm taking the same point further. So that was the time when you represent the Asia now, like
Mm-hmm.
last couple of years. If you notice, we have the many Asian bartenders who actually has a global title.
Yeah, damn
Okay,
right, man. Yeah.
if you're talking about the Rona Paul,
Nung, you
okay,
got Bunny,
Bacardi,
you've got Ronan, who also
Tequila,
won a Claron in the global side. Who is we got
and
Palm, who
Owen
won
Palm.
Campari. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So we have so
Yes.
many global winners. So how it sounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It just goes to show and prove the point that I just said. In the beginning, we were a younger kind of community, so to speak. In the cocktail world, we weren't really known for making drinks, right? Now, in just the last, like, honestly, 6 years, bro. Okay, maybe a little more than 6, 7 years. All the major markets have improved drastically. And it's just amazing to see, because for a long time, no one would ever think of coming to Asia to drink cocktails. I mean, putting in perspective, so cocktails were never a big part of people's lives until the last maybe 20 years, early 2000s, from the bars in New York and London. It only belongs to the rich people who could afford it. Now it's like a commonplace thing. You don't go to you can go to a restaurant now and kind of expect to have a nice Negroni pot for you, and be satisfied with what you're paying for. If you went to a bar maybe like 7 years ago and asked for a Negroni, you'd be surprised on what you get. It's like a box of chocolates, like Forrest Gump says. You never know what you're gonna get. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see how this industry has changed and grown in the last 7, 8 years. It's just super cool, man.
Yep.
And I was just very honored and glad to be a part of it, to be honest.
Okay, so before we finish our talk, we have two questions for you. The
Mm-hmm.
number one questions on your screen, you can see on the pin.
Mm-hmm.
What is the theme of your current bar and also the new bar name? It's by the Paul. Paul is actually the brand ambassador for Karunjin and Old Pulnary with single malt.
Mm-hmm.
He based in Thailand.
Mm. Well, the current theme of the bar, we're doing a concept at Junior. It's called Kipu. Kipu is basically paying homage to the country of Peru. So we're doing our Peruvian stuff. So your pisco sours, your leche de tigres, and all that. Some of the flavors that come from there. It's pretty cool because actually the South American continents sit on the equator, so they're very similar temperament and climate to us in Southeast Asia actually. So there are a lot of things that we get, that they get, that we get that's very similar. So it's quite fun to play those flavors. And also for the new bar is essentially going to be a casual cocktail bar, kind of leaning more towards the idea of clean, fresh, and audacious drinks. And also we are going to serve a bit more, kind of like, almost like a deli style pizza place to some extent. So that's the goal we're going for, super casual, because the area that we're opening up is in this place called Duxton Hill. And Duxton Hill is known for their nicer restaurants, and also their one particular place called Lucha Loco, which is a bit more casual. So there isn't really a casual cocktail bar, so to speak, there. So we're trying to go through the market and do that. So that's Nemesis. And okay, I see Lisa. Where's my cat? Here, bro.
Yes,
He's
there's a cage.
always nearby. Always
Yeah,
nearby.
William. See, the William actually is a cat.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Gabriel, travel to guest shift if you have to quarantine. I mean, like honestly,
Only
the traveling for the guest.
this kind of question only Gabriel can ask because he has the whole rum bar. Whatever rum you name, he will give you. That he's the only one who can ask this thing.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, like the time spent for quarantine is not the biggest issue if you can afford it. Like for someone like myself right now, where I don't really have a full time job, so to speak, if the company says, "Hey, we'll pay for your quarantine here," and when you go home, just for guest shift, I'll be like, "Fuck yeah, sign me up, man!" So you want to pay me to spend 2 weeks in a hotel in Bangkok, 2 weeks in a hotel in Singapore, and then maybe spend a week in Bangkok doing shifts? I'm like, sounds good. Sounds like something I'll do.
So 1 month in quarantine and 2 3 days shift, and
Yeah,
if the
man.
company pays for the entire thing, you're okay.
Yeah, why not, man? Reimburse me for my time anytime. Yeah.
That sounds good. Okay, that's all from my side, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for
You're welcome.
joining us and sharing your views and thoughts about our current industry situation. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
and
anytime, bro.
hope to see you soon. Hope to
Yeah, I
see you
hope to see
soon.
you soon. Hope to see all those guys soon, man. I miss you guys in Bangkok. So hopefully, you
Soon
guys
to see you.
can either come over or I can go over.
Yeah, please. We can do like this. We can exchange each other.
All right. Ciao. Take it easy. I'm gonna do some work now. Okay. Bye
Okay, see
bye.
you, Peter.
All
Bye.
right.
Okay, so this is all about Peter and his opinion about the industry then and now. Hope to see you soon in next episode of Bartenders Series BKK, where we will invite one of the new guest speaker to share a different topic. Thank you very much for joining. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.